Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another installment of Flyera, Flyera, episode number 38. We're getting close to the end of the season now. It is crazy how quick this year has flown by. Just 6 games to go on the day we're recording this. And we only got 2 more episodes left in the regular season this week, next week. And then our 40th episode will be off-season edition officially. And it kind of stinks how quick this year has flown by. But, it's been another crazy year in Flyer land. Nothing new there. But even then, we're going to be giving you some awesome coverage throughout the summer as well. But let's get into today's episode just in general. Starting with the man to my left. You know him, you love him. He is a seasoned veteran, Mr. Jamey Bascow.
Hey, aloha, mahalo, everybody. What's going on? Just another Michkov for center. Michkov for center. I'm putting that one out there. Michkov for center.
Michkov for center. Ho, 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 ho. Jamey is starting off the episode spicy. He wants to see Michkov down the middle. Let's see if that ends up happening. Honestly, like I said, with 6 games to go, if you're going to try something like that, now's the time. That Michkov, Couturier, Konechny line has been buzzing. It's been almost a week since we've seen them play, but since the last time they played, they have been buzzing, so I don't know if Shaw's going to break that up. Either way, if there's a time to try it, it's now. And then you got the man below me. He is the growing but incredible second co-host of mine, Mr. Eric Martino. Eric, how you doing today, bud?
Very, very well, boys. Just another day to talk some Flyers hockey. And here we go. Final stretch of the season. 6 more games. Let's do it.
This season, like I said, it's crazy how much this season has just flown. We're now in the final, 12 days? Playoffs start 2 weeks from today as well.
Playoffs, baby. Playoffs. You talking about playoffs?
Yeah. Oh, my God. Wait, go get a job with the Colts if you're going to be dropping little games like that.
I feel like we say that every year. Name the last time we haven't said playoffs. You're talking about playoffs?
Well, last year we were
seriously
being able to talk about it.
Yeah, well, at this time last year they were crumbling. You remember that? Not winning some games, Yeah,
then the last time it's been held, they're going to miss playoffs. So probably mathematically eliminated as of today if they lose this game.
If they lose, yeah.
Actually, I think even if it goes to overtime, they are mathematically eliminated.
Are they?
Yeah, because the max they can get is 81 points because they have 6 games. No, I'm sorry. They're not mathematically eliminated if they win in overtime. But I think the magic number of elimination is 2. If Montreal gets to 83, so if Montreal wins in any fashion today, they're mathematically out. But, yeah, we know it's over.
No, not really. We'll win today 8-1.
Oh, Jamey's pushing the narrative. Like, I said it off air. I want to lose for the tank, obviously, because I want to get as good of a pick as possible. I had a guy, there's an elite prospect. There's a lot of good names in this year's draft around the area they're picking right now.
Yeah.
Anton Frundell, James Hagens, Porter Matone. There's a lot of Eklund's good too. Depending on what kind of player you want, I would probably prefer to stay away from the wingers. I really hope they get a center. But
what about Schaefer?
I think he's going 1 or 2. So if we get lucky in the lottery, I'm not even counting.
No, I'm just saying, what if he was an option? Would you agree with the Flyers taking D-man? Or do you take the best player available?
Absolutely. If Schaefer's available, abso-friggin-lutely, he is a franchise defenseman that eliminates the number 1 defenseman issue that this team has.
Yeah.
Their top 4 would be set for the future with him, Drysdale, Sanheim, and York, assuming they keep York. And
they will.
You're in good shape. So
yeah,
if he was available, I'm not counting on that.
Yeah. No, I understand.
And the one time in recent memory they did win the lottery, the pick that they made did not.
Nolan Patrick, baby.
And that's a reason why I want to stay away from Roger McQueen, because I get Nolan Patrick PTSD from him. No disrespect to the kid, he's really physical body, good shot. We'll be going to draft talk once we get closer to the draft, obviously, and as the offseason begins. I don't want to go too much into it right now, but his injury history is why I get Nolan Patrick.
Yeah, I understand. I get it.
Yeah. But then again, if he would slip to 10, 11, and the Flyers have a chance to like move up.
Oh, yeah.
Man,
And
great.
that's worth the risk. But
Actually,
I'm not doing it at like 5 or 6.
no,
No
no.
shot.
Yeah.
But
Well,
if
you're
you
not
could be,
paying
like,
the premium. Yeah.
yeah. If you could be like the second center we draft, then I'm taking that chance all day.
Yeah, same here. Same here. You got to, because you would hope no one really knows right at the end of the day how these guys, how these prospects are going to pan out. Just because they're so good where they're currently playing now, does that mean their game correlate or will correlate to the NHL? We've seen a lot of bust. Nolan Patrick, unfortunately, largely in large part due to his injury history.
Yeah.
Neil Yakupov, is a big one, for Canada everywhere.
Roman Ruthoff.
Yeah, I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, especially in Flyer land. I mean, look how many number ones they missed. Look how many German Rupsoff, was the big one, for me. Man, he was so good where whatever, But yeah, I think everyone gets the drift that you just never know. And so when you're getting 2 within the first 11 picks, your chances at one of them making it is greater in large part than, one, obviously.
I still get PTSD from the Jay O'Brien pick that I want them to stay clear from Jake O'Brien just for that reason.
Man.
And the kid looks like he's going to be a good player, probably going top 10, but just for that reason, not even because of the kid's skill set.
Crazy. I know.
But anyway, let's get into today's episode. So we got some good topics we're going to be talking about today. Leading off with a prospect that they just signed not too long ago, Karsen Dorwart, out of Michigan State. He will be making his NHL debut today with the Flyers. He'll be playing on the 4th line. Seems like it'll be him, Nick Delorier, and Garnet Hathaway running a line. Just to give a little bit of feedback on this kid. Two-way center, has a good motor. Seems like he's projected to be a bottom 6er, but you never know with guys like this. He doesn't really have too much of an offensive game, although he really did take a step forward in college, or he's not projected to have too much of an offensive game, I should say. But in the college ranks, he took a bit of a step forward. I think he had 47 points in 40 games this year. So that's good to see. But, players like this who are late bloomers sometimes surprise you. He's 22 years old, young kid. He signed to a 2-year deal. So let me start with you, Eric. What are you expecting from Mr. Dorwart today?
Well, today excuse me. For today, really the only thing I can expect is him just to get accustomed to the NHL game, right? From what I understand, he's going to be playing on the 4th line. With the Laurier and Hathaway. So you know what, like 2 nice veterans to isolate him, to lead him along. But look, for me, when it comes to to unsigned college free agents, I never really tend to get my hopes up, because honestly, 9 out of 10 times these guys, not that they don't pan out, but they just end up being okay. Like you have your Jimmy VCs, that this guy had all kinds of hype coming out of of college, and then just hey, he's a fine role player. So honestly, that's what I expect from Dorwart. I expect him to just be at least in the next few games, for him to become accustomed to the NHL, and he'll probably just end up being a role player. Maybe he'll be the 4C of the future. Maybe if the Flyers ever decide to trade Paling, or if Paling leaves in free agency eventually. So yeah, look, it's another bottom 6 body. He didn't put up huge points in NCAA, so I'm not expecting him to be a big point producer. And I everything I hear from him. He's got high compete. He's maybe not the best skater, but he's average skater, average shot. So pretty much what I hear. So yeah, look, I just expect him to be a role player going forward.
I do want to make a correction too. I said he had 47 points in 40 games. That was incorrect. I was actually looking at the incorrect prospect. He has 31 points in 35 games in his final season in Michigan State. So wanted to throw a correction on that. But yeah, these bottom 6, these guys that you sign undrafted, you don't know what you're going to get out of them. A few examples, Mike Vecchione a couple years back. That was a guy that got a little bit of hype. Funny enough, he's from pretty close to where I grew up in Saugus, Massachusetts. But that was a guy they had some hype for. Didn't really pan out here. Maxime Rizzo more recently, he still hasn't even found his way on the roster. I think he's 24 now. So
he's been hurt though. He's been hurt.
That's true too. But at some point, like guys like that, even if there's durability issues, you got to find a way to get to the NHL roster. So a kid like Dorwart, it's good to see at least them give an opportunity, and it gives them potentially some flexibility in the bottom six, as Eric just mentioned. If a guy like Paling or Hathaway for some reason, or maybe if they eventually try to move on from Nick Delorier this offseason, because that would be a good deal to get out of. Although he does have a no movement clause. I still don't understand why Chuck Fletcher gave him that to this day. But besides the point, if they were to move on from one of their bottom six guys, you got a guy that you can fill in and not have to worry about trying to find another person either within the system or out in free agency to waste money on. You already got a guy you can potentially plug in if this kid shows some level of impression in these final 6 games. So I want to see this kid maybe provide a little bit. I have a feeling they're going to play him on the penalty kill just based off of what I'm reading with this two-way game. I guess he's got some looks on the second power play, which is a little surprising to me. But, the power play is so atrocious at this point. Who gives a damn? Try anything. Rocky Thompson will be out of here in 6 games anyway. So why not? See what he provides. What do you think of the kid, Jamey?
I have no expectations. Much like Eric and like you've been talking, a lot of these undrafted free agents really don't pan out too well. And in Flyers history, these undrafted, NCAA free agents really haven't panned out. They've lucked out on some undrafted free agents, not at the NCAA level. Like Tim Kerr being one of the best, in the entire organizational, history and stuff like that. But I just have no expectations when they do this. And the reason I had my hopes up for Mike Vecchione, and he really let me down. And from there on, I just never, when they sign these undrafted, for free agents like that, like Oscar Eklund for that matter, or who was the other Swede that they signed, and then he went. This is only a few years ago. I forget his name.
I don't know his name. I know he had talked about.
But you know who I'm talking about. And, now it's the NCAA, players. Not saying that I'm not giving up on Karsen by no means, but I just have no expectations. I'm not going to say, oh, yeah, man, I see him at top 6 or bottom 6. I'll let his play dictate how he is. Like you said, he's not the fastest, player. He's got a solid motor. He's got a good motor, but to me, he's not the flashiest player. He'll kill you with his speed. He's not that type of player. Now, what he does do well is he is excellent in his two-way game. I'll give him that much. He doesn't forget about defense. That's for sure. He'll never leave, players hanging, and stuff like that in their own zone. So that's a good metric for him. But other than that, he provides size down the middle, which I like because I think the Flyers needed size down the middle. I think they need that, as opposed to that, 150, 160 type player. He's 6'1", 184, something of that nature, right? Something like that, or I forget. I forget his actual size, but I think he's around that ballpark anyway. Nonetheless, so I think that's good. But I more or less see him as a depth center. Like I see him with the Phantoms next season. He's just getting his feet wet here, at the NHL level. Let's see how he does. And if they need a recall, I'm not that high on Ali Lixell. So I think maybe he could be the first recall down there next year, if he plays well, I think that maybe that's what it is. Let's just see how he does. He's not really going to see the ice that much. I only see anywhere from like 8 to 9 minutes tonight, because he is on the fourth line. So he's not going to kill you with his ice time. He might see some added time on the power play. Like Alex mentioned, he was getting some PP time on PP2. But I do envision him getting some penalty kill time because Bradshaw has mentioned that. He wants to try to, intermix this penalty killing unit. But yeah, let's just see how he does. It's kind of cool. He's the 7th Flyer this season to make his NHL debut. He will be the 7th when he hits the ice today. Yeah, you had Alexei Kolosov, Matvei Michkov, Rodrigo Abels,
Davychenko.
Yeah, Jetlichenko.
So obviously him makes 5. What? No, Lightzel made his debut. Oh my God, the center that they had that they got Goucher.
Yeah, Gaucher. Jakob
Gaucher.
Gaucher. And then Dorwart. He'll be the 7th. Yeah. Yeah, I always forget about
I think we're missing
Gaucher.
one. That was only 6. We're missing one player.
I don't know.
Either way, point being.
Yeah. So so it'll be kind of neat to see, how he does. I think it's kind of intriguing. So we'll see what happens.
Did Emil Andre make his debut
No,
this year?
no, that was last year.
Okay.
Yeah, that was last year.
By the way, the player we were thinking of earlier, Jamey, Lucas Sedlak. That was the guy.
Yes. Yeah. And
Sweden, though, it was Czech Republic he went to.
There was another Swede, actually. There was another Swede. I forget his name. He was supposed to be, he was a good winger. Man, I forget. He had a really good wrist shot. He had some good games for the Phantoms, too. I forget his name.
Was it?
Huh?
Not Adam Ginning, because I think he's still here.
No, Ginning is still there. I forget who it is.
So whoever it was, point being, they've had some players come and go. And, you made some good points on that, Jamey. Keep your expectations limited for a guy like this. Like, there's a reason he was undrafted. Bottom 6 potential. He showed a little more than expected in college, so he earned that NHL contract. Let's see what they got in him. It doesn't hurt to give this kid some reps, see how he plays. And as I stated too, you got nothing to lose. Throw him on the second power play. This team's power play has been a borderline dumpster fire in the last near half decade. So why not see what you got?
Oh, Helge Grans is the other. Yeah.
Still here,
yeah.
Isn't Grant still here?
Yeah, he's still here. He's with the Phantoms,
Okay.
but he made his NHL debut.
Okay, that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I got the different things that we were mixing up.
Yeah, no, sorry. This Sandin. What was his name? His name
that's
Sandin. Oscar Sandin or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember him now.
Oh man, what was his name? I forget his name.
Is his brother, but I can't remember. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Linus Sandin. That's it. Linus Sandin. Yep. And and like he was highly touted. He was like one of the best Swedes, of that particular, calendar year. It was like their Flyers weren't the only team interested in him. There were like 2 or 3 other teams that went neck and neck, and Fletcher was able to swing him here. And he just never panned out,
Yeah, it just comes to show players like that. There's a reason they're undrafted. It's just another example right there. But is there anything you'd like to potentially see from this kid today? Is just in general?
No, I think that fourth line. I'm not getting again the expectations. It's just like let him play. He's playing on fourth line minutes. He's not going to get much ice time, for that matter. If he's getting a lot of ice time, then the Flyers are in trouble. Then they're getting their clocks, kicked in. Which could very well happen to a good Montreal team who's hungry right now, and they have a hell of a coach over there. I got to give them that, man. Their coach is phenomenal. Great guy. Martin St. Louis is phenomenal. Was a good player. He's a really good coach. It seems that he's got that team buying in. They were down in the dumpster. They were worse off than the Flyers, and all of a sudden now they're vying for the playoffs. It's crazy how up and down their season's been. I remember Torch a few months ago. They're in the same boat as us. Obviously, they're not. Huh? What?
No, our director is a Montreal Canadiens fan today. He keeps sneaking in Hudson for Calder. That's why I said, Matthew, put that away.
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely not worthy of the Calder Trophy. He never has been, Hudson. He's a bum. He's what you call a bum.
But in all seriousness, it is going to be a good game. You got 2 elite rookies going at it.
No, he is the Calder right now. We talked about it before. I give him a lot of props. It's hard to. When was the last time a defenseman was named? This is great. I think it's phenomenal. I think it's awesome.
think it's awesome because Michkov got robbed.
Yeah, well,
he's had a great year. I got to give it.
Yeah, good for him.
Missed it. But anyway, so let's move on to our next topic. We're going to be talking about just things that we're looking for the rest of the season, just things that we want to see, or what we're pretty much like what we want to see out of this team in these remaining 6 games. Like teams like this can be looked at as meaningless, and the obvious answer would be compete in general, but there might be something that we want to see just in general. Just as some goals for this team to really grow upon leading into the summer. So in these final 6 games, I'll lead it off with you, Eric. What do you want to see as some potential goals in these final 6 games?
Well, I came up with 3 things. First of which, I want to see if Michkov can get to 65 points.
Oh, man, that'd be awesome.
Like right now, he's at 58. So he only needs another 7 points in the next 6 games.
Which is doable.
Very doable.
Very doable.
Very doable. Now, can he get to 65? But could he get to 30 goals also? That's going to be a little tougher.
6 goals in 6 games might be, even for him, might be a little challenging.
But if
I don't know about that.
If he gets 6 goals and 1 assist in the next, in the next 6 games, you'll have 30 and 65.
Dude, that'd be great. Oh, sugar, man.
So,
damn.
Yeah. So I think it's possible. I'm just saying it's possible.
Oh, it's definitely possible. It'll be a little tough in a goal a game, but I won't be upset if he does it. I'll be quite.
I wouldn't either. I'd be freaking ecstatic, man.
But I'll live with just if he could get at least the 65 points, I'll take it. I'll live with it. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's sad you had to make a consolation there.
Exactly. I'm willing to compromise, Jamey. Okay, I'm willing to compromise. So that's 1. 2 is, can Tippett get 20 goals?
He needs 1. If he can't do that, we have a problem.
Man, high and wide, man.
Oh my God! Listen, I love Owen Tippett. But if he could learn to consistently, and I've said this a million times, learn to consistently hit the fucking net, he could be a perennial 40-goal scorer every year. And I love the guy. I love his speed. But that's the 2 things he brings, his speed and shot. If he's not providing that, he's not really providing much. So I don't know what he's going to do in the offseason. Maybe get a new torque on his blade, on his stick. Maybe look at just a new stick in general, get a new shooting coach. He's got to do stuff to learn how to hit the net at a consistent basis.
No, because you know what? When I was looking over stuff, there's 2 things I found that really kind of surprised me about Owen Tippett. Look, I think he's just having a down year.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on this year, but
I agree.
The first thing that surprised me, he does not have a power play goal. Not 1. 0.
I think he's hurt.
0 power play goals. And the second thing is he only has 169 shots this season. Okay. Now, last season, he had 289. Okay. That was last season. The season before, he had 231. So he's not shooting close. He's over 100 less shots than he did last year. So I don't know if there's like Jamey said, I don't know if there's something wrong with him or whatever. Or look, guys like him just have those random down years. So is it just that? Is he just going through a little bit of a dry spell? Or just having a bad year? I don't know. Because look, he's a guy that I have faith in Tippett. Honestly, I love his game. I love his power, like the way he goes to the net with speed. And I just think he's just, I don't know. I just think he's just having a tough year this year. So that's 2. And 3 is, can the power play get to 15%? That's number 3.
Oh wow! What a high goal we set,
guys. We're at 14.7 right now.
Only 0.3 to go, and Rocky Thompson can say he did something. Okay. He slightly improved it this year.
So to start March, right? We went 13 games with 0-31. Like we all know this. It's ridiculous. But the last 3 games, we're 3 for 8. Okay, which at 37.
Bradshaw, baby.
So I'm just saying,
Bradshaw
15% might be in reach. So yeah, maybe. But I don't know. You know what? Maybe it was Tortorella that was holding back this power play.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Could be.
I've said that. Coaching makes a big difference.
You know what's crazy? They could probably not get a power play goal in the remaining 6 games, and it's probably still not moving down to the bottom because the Islanders and the Ducks have both been that putrid.
Yeah,
They have almost they have a 2% edge on both of them. Like,
but at one point it was closer, so I think these last 3 games really put us a little.
It really bolstered it. It got it back over 14% as we're looking at the 4th straight year where we're under 16.
Yeah.
Why is he still here? Why?
So yeah, so those basically are the 3 goals I would like the Flyers, please, to try and accomplish. So Michkov 65 points, Tippett at least get to the 20-goal mark, buddy. Come on, let's do it. And 15% for the power play. Let's go. We can do it.
I like all 3 are realistic, except maybe the power play. You know, when that's but who knows? Jamey, let me see yours.
Well, I think to piggyback off Eric, I think Tippett's hurt. I think York is hurt, and I think TK's hurt. I think you have all those 3 Flyers right there that are playing with significant injuries right now. To be honest with you, I really do, and they're fighting through, and good for them, to fight through, and especially TK putting up points still, and I think that's why he lags so much with his point. And I think that piggybacks off of what Eric's saying about the shots and stuff in terms of Tippett, not hitting the net and stuff like that. He's constantly shooting wide. So all those shots that are going wide, they're not hitting the net. So his shots are going to be, down from the prior year. So it's sort of on the same lines as Eric. But I want to see I want to see a goaltender claim the damn net. I don't want this carousel. Because next year is a big year for the Flyers. They have money to spend now, in the offseason. So if you're going to make additions, that means you have to step up. There is no longer this, we just missed the playoffs. We're a bubble playoff team. No, at this point in the rebuild, you should be a playoff team, not a contender. A contender is a bit different from a playoff team. Just make the playoffs. You know what I mean? That 8th, 9. That's where the Flyers have to fall next year. They should be able to make the playoffs. You're going to start adding now. These are key portions to the future. That means that my expectations next year are playoffs or bust. That's what it is. These past 2 years, the Flyers get a pass because they're still trying to figure out who's part of the future, and they obviously did with shipping off X, Y, and Z players. We don't need to get into all that. You know what I mean? So they obviously weren't part of the future. Now it's time for a goaltender to clean the damn net, whether that's Samuel Ersson, whether that's Ivan Fedotov, whether that's Alexei Kolosov. One of those damn freaking goaltenders have to clean this net. That is a big question mark next season. And I think all 3 of us said it going into this season anyway, going back to our preseason predictions for the Flyers. We each said that the goaltending needed to be a force. Samuel Ersson, this was a big year. This was a big year for Fedotov to prove, yes, I can be the backup or not. That means that this damn freaking goaltending curse continues today. So that's my biggest thing. I want to see one of these goaltenders say, hey, this is my goddamn net. Yeah, excuse my language, but, this is my net. This is mine. You're not taking it from me. I'm the guy moving forward. That's what I want to see. Because right now, I think we all have, is Samuel Ersson the number 1? Is he not? You know what I mean? Those thoughts are really going through my mind right now. So I want to see a goaltender clean the freaking net, My second thing that I want to see sort of on Eric's lines, but I'm going to see Tyson Forrester hit the 20-goal mark. I think that'd be big. That'd be big for the rookie to be a second consecutive 20-goal year. Only because I would have selected Tippett because I agree with Eric. You're not making this type of money, from the Flyers. The Flyers gave you a very luxury contract. He should be a 20-goal player. He had 28 last year. Now it's a regression. I think that's large part due to injury. I still think he's hurt, but it's still sort of no excuse. You're still in the lineup. You're getting grade A chances. I mean, he's had a lot of grade A chances. He's just missing. So same thing with Tyson Forrester. I think that, his game is finally coming together. So I hope he hits the 20-goal mark. And lastly, I want to see Jamey Drysdale have a strong end to the season here. Between him and Noah Cates are my 2 most improved players from the prior year. I want, Jamey Drysdale is putting together a really, really good second half here, and I want to see it continue because he's a big port to this future. And we've said it on show after show. Be patient with Jamey. Be patient. Be patient. He's still like recovering from his injury. You know, it took Shane Gothisbehere and Claude Giroux both until February, March to start feeling like themselves after having that large abdominal, procedure. Let's be patient with Jamey. What's that?
Kevin Hayes too.
Yeah, Kevin Hayes too, and Kevin Hayes had multiple scrape outs, not just the one that Jamey did. He had multiple ones throughout the course of the year. Remember, he would miss a week and then come back, and then he'd come back for like 2 or 3 weeks and then miss another week, and then or whatever, because he was trying to play through the scrape outs. So Jamey is finally healthy, and I think we're starting to see the Drysdale that the Flyers hoped that they would get. And it's in large part due to healthy. So I want to see him remain healthy for these last 6 games and really make a push.
And that's a good point. Honestly, I think we can all agree on that. If there was like a top 3 on most improved Flyers, he's without a doubt on all 3 of our lists. His second half has been spectacular. In my opinion, he's going to win the Flyers Defenseman of the Year award that they hand out at the end of the year. I think he definitely deserves it. He's played consistent. I know his offensive game hasn't shown too much yet. He's only got 20 points on the year. But with how fucking abysmal this power play is right now and how he's played through injury in the first half of the year too, I give him a bit of a pass there, especially when you see the strides he's made defensively. He's definitely, at bare minimum, my top 2.
Yeah.
Flyera, gonna Flyera. That's for damn sure. But I say this about Jamey, and I love what he's done this year. He's only 22 years old still. He's going to be 23 in short order. Most defensemen don't hit that prime until the earliest 26. So you still got some time for this kid to develop. Same goes for Cam York, too. He's had a bad year, but I'm not ready to throw the towel in on him unless he's part of the package for a 1C. But anyway, let me go on to my 3 things. So I'm going to do one that you guys haven't talked about yet. I want to see this. I'm going to start with my hardest to easiest. I go hardest, middle ground, easiest. My hardest one of the 3, I want to see Travis Konecny be a point per game player this year.
Oh, man, yeah.
73 points in 76 games right now. As long as he stays on that line with Couturier and Michkov, I think it's possible. 9 points in 6 games. He has definitely found his game again recently. It's still going to be a challenge because it's been more of a playmaking asset than goal scoring. He only has 24 goals this year. So from a goal scoring perspective, he definitely has taken a step back. But 49 assists, he has shattered his career assist total in a season. Shattered.
Good for him. Good for him.
That's a major plus in Konechny's game. So I want to see him push the 82-point mark. He's 9 points. It's doable. It's not likely. It's less than 50%, but it's definitely doable. I'll probably put it in the 25 to 30% range for that. The second thing I want to see is I want to see Matvei Michkov, to piggyback off of Eric, finish with 65-plus points. That was my medium goal for the year. He's at 58 right now. He's looking great. He's been an absolute tear. He seems like he's finally got the freedom to play his offensive style without having to worry about back-checking or blocking shots or being a fucking checker.
Are you kidding me? You can't do that anymore?
No! Without making that a primary asset of this game at friggin' 5'9", 170-plus pounds. Don't friggin' wear this guy. Man, let him play his game. His game is being an offensive wizard. And, he finally has the freedom to do that, which I'm happy
He's a damn checker, man.
Oh, yeah. Let's put him at the role of Bobby Brake with the same size, for sure. And then the third one, I'll make this one a little bit easier. I want to see Tyson Forster hit 40 points. 17 assists. He's got 35 right now. 5 points in 6 games. I think that is doable. Honestly, I probably should have swapped Michkov and Forster's likelihood because he is playing still second line minutes. But I think Forster, he's taken another step forward this year. He had only 33 points, if I remember, last year. He's up to 35 this year. So he's got a chance at it. He could snip 40 points. I'd love to see it happen. If it doesn't, that's all right. But I think he's taken a little bit of a step forward, not to the degree of like a Cates Brink or Drysdale, but he's taken a little bit of a step. And I think he's part of their future top 6. I do.
Oh, yeah, he is. Yeah.
I am high on Tyson Forster. I
am too.
really am. I think this kid has a great shot that has not been fully utilized yet, and he needs a good playmaker on his line to unlock that. When you get him get a legitimate playmaker, I think he's got 25-plus goal upside every year. I think that's how highly I see a Forster, and he plays a very good two-way game, and he doesn't get enough credit for that. People forget, not too long ago, he was getting he wasn't close to it, but he was getting some Selke looks. He's getting a few Selke votes. He wasn't even close to winning it. That wasn't the argument. But he got a few 4th and 5th place votes, which is without being said, that's a plus on your defensive game, people looking at that. So I want to see Tyson Forster, not just this year, but over the next few years, continue to develop. In my opinion, on the current roster right now, I think he's the 3rd or 4th most important forward.
Yeah. Well, I just want to make this known. My prediction for Michkov is off and way off. I predicted him to finish with 47 points. So if people remember that, so I had to come clean there.
57. So I predicted 57. So he's
I'm definitely way off. So. And I'm happy about that.
That's a good thing. At least you weren't off in the negative perspective. And he had
Yeah, but I like Forster. Imagine Forster with Jonathan Tavares.
I don't think, unfortunately, they're going to go after him because he's not really in the age group. I think, I'm telling you, if they could swing a trade for this guy, I'd be elated. I don't think it happened. I'm not 100% sure it happens, but the Seattle Kraken need to have a damn rebuild because a lot of their players that are good are 28 plus and they suck. Imagine if you could swoop Eddie Beniers from that team, especially with how much he struggled offensively the last 2 years. He would be a glove fit here. I would love a guy like Matty Beniers here.
Yeah.
I think he plays a very good two-way game. Fantastic defensive game. But he has another level to unlock offensively. If you could unlock that here, you got your next Sean Couturier. Prime Sean Couturier. So we'll go into off-season talk later. I don't want to go too off topic. But does anyone else have anything to add before we move on to our final topic of the episode?
Well, just quick, just to touch on what Jamey was saying with the goalies before, and with Alexei Kolosov, and like I feel like we're just beating a fucking dead horse at this point. But like, if he's good, like because I'm sure you guys saw the comments that like Bradshaw made like this week, right? He's like, we plan on playing him. There's a lot of different scenarios right now, so we are not sure when that is, but we basically foresee playing him. But like, okay,
play him now.
There's 6 games left, guys. There's 6 games left. So like,
I gotta play
playing him at this point. Like, come on, then just fucking play him. Like, there's 6 games left. Play him 4, or at the very least 3. Because now you're just wasting my time. Now, like,
realistically, I don't think we see Adam Fedotov in this organization next year. I stand by what we said a few weeks ago. I think he's gone. I'm sorry for interrupting you, Eric. I just want to add that point.
I'm like, again, topic for another episode, but I'm telling you, I don't know about that. I really don't.
I don't know what's going on. I mean, I can see what you're saying, Alex, 100%. I believe, and I trust your sources. I trust your intuition as well. It's just kind of weird that all of a sudden now Fedotov is playing. That's what I thought. If he wasn't playing, and to say if it was Urson and Kolosov, like I'm with Eric on this. This is kind of freaking weird. What the hell is going on with Kolosov? Like, and that's the question I will ask Danny Briere. That's definitely on my list because this is just getting ridiculous. Even if he only sees one game, like the usage and the recall and to play Fedotov after Torch said no, he's only in emergency situations. He gets canned, and all of a sudden now he's starting. So what the hell? This guy has gone from. This is the second time this season that's happened to where Fedotov is the 3rd goalie, and then all of a sudden the starter. You know what I mean? It's not like this is the first, the second.
I think Eric hit the hammer on the nail with his theory a few weeks. I think it was like a week or 2 ago. We may have talked about it during the Torch firing episode that the original plan was probably that they were going to bring that Tortorella talked to Briere, wanted Kolosov up because he was done with Fedotov. That's who they used that final recall on, and they were going to probably go Urson Kolosov the rest of the year. And then the Tortorella breakout with Cam York happened. He got terminated. Fedotov's now on better terms with the organization. That Tortorella's gone. And now Alexei Kolosov's a sitting duck here that he got called up spontaneously because
weird.
Tortorella probably wanted to play him more than Briere wanted to bring him up. So that's my That's Eric's prediction makes too much sense. That's just connecting the puzzle pieces. And it just seems like based off of the turn of events and what I heard from my undisclosed source, based off of that, it adds up way too much.
Yeah, plus, now we're getting at a point where it's almost 2 weeks now that he's been up here without playing. Now you're just gonna throw him into a game.
He's not even a backup. What the fuck? Like he's just up here chilling.
Like that's why you can't that's what I'm saying. Like if he's here, at least in the next 6, well, obviously not tonight because it's confirmed Urson is starting. So then in like the next 5 games, at least give this guy like at least 3 games. Like you have him up here, like he's been off for 2 weeks. So what, you're gonna throw him in a game cold after God knows how long he's just been sitting there. And then like I'm hoping they give him at least a sec because I foresee like that first game, maybe he's gonna be rusty. Maybe so I'm hoping they give him at least a couple games because then there's really no point to this call up if they
give
only
the Rangers game on Wednesday. Like seriously.
It's so weird.
Like I said, Eric's point makes way too much sense. That just seems like based off of connecting the dots.
Oh yeah, Torts was done with Fedotov.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely, yeah. And I agree. He was probably out of the organization at that point. It's just so darn weird that all of a sudden now he's back in the organization starting. Like, what the freak is the deal with that? Like, Brad Shaw didn't even have Torts his back with that. He started it. You know what I mean? That's like, was it Brad Shaw's call or was that Danny Briere's call?
No, I'm guessing Briere, my guess.
You know what I mean? Like it's just so weird that Brad Shaw is his main assistant, and he starts him. He's like, okay, whatever happened with Torts is in the past. You're my starter. What the hell is that?
And I'm telling you, that's why I think that he might not be gone this offseason. That's why I think Fedotov might be here again next year.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Completely.
Yeah.
The only issue is, are you going to run with these same 2 goalies again? Because if not, then you're putting 2 of them down in the minors, and you're going to need to bring in another goalie in general. Do you trust running Urson and Kolosov or Urson and Fedotov again after this catastrophe last year, or this year, I should say, in net? That's why I think, like, just based off of too many bodies. Plus, we're not even talking about Carson Bjarnstrom coming over too. He's probably going to be pushing for a job. So I just feel like there's too many bodies to have all of these guys potentially in the NHL and AHL. That one of them is going to probably end up being either moved or bought out or something. Urson, I doubt it because his contract's too good. He's not even making $2 million a year. And Kolosov, he's still too young to really want to give up on him. So process of elimination, but just like the most likely aspect of this. But we'll see. But anyway, let's move on to our final topic. Michkov, he has been on a bender since the John Tortorella firing. I even think before that he was feeling good, but since then, I think he's got 7 points in 3 games, something like that. He has caught absolute fire. I will say at this point, and Matt, don't you dare hit the button, that I think it's likely at this point Lane Hudson probably has the Calder locked up. Well, pretty damn good chance, like 90% shot.
Yeah.
Is there any outside hope that Matvei could make a push for the Calder? Like, what would he have to do to make the voters really second thought think this over? Jamey, let me start with you on your opinion.
I think he'd have to these last 6 games. I think he has to put up anywhere from like 18 to 20 points. And I hate to say it like that. I hate to say that, but that would probably be the benchmark. I mean, you're figuring Hudson's good. His team could make the playoffs. And he could be one of those. I think that goes against Matvei a little bit, because if you take Hudson off the Canadiens, are the Canadiens this good? Like, you know what I mean? In his rookie year, wherever, if you take Michkov off the Flyers, they're going to just be this bad as well. So that's one of the metrics, I think, like when you're saying that this candidate should win and he doesn't win because his team didn't make the playoffs. It's not just based on points alone. If we were based on points alone, I think Michkov will finish with more points than Hudson eventually. I think that, you know, he's on a bender right now. He's a wagon. He's lit the torch. He's finally found his niche with playing with TK and Coots. You know, again, that's a line that should have been formed well before Torts is firing anyway. I mean, when the lines were so in influx there and he had no clue, he didn't put them back together because he didn't want Michkov playing on his offhand, as opposed to, you know, to putting TK on his natural. I think that's a line he should have revisited anyway. And I think many fans were calling for that. So kudos to all the Flyers fans out there who are listening to this podcast. Good for sticking with it. So I think he's going to have to put up 18 to 20 points, because I see Hudson putting up, what do they have? 7 games left, right? They still have a game in hand, right?
They have 6 left, I believe.
Oh, six as well. So,
yeah, no, you're right. It is 7. I'm sorry. They have 7.
So I mean that sort of goes against him. So let's just say Hudson, you know, is a point per game player. That's 7 points. Michkov really has to blow, and the Canadiens make the playoffs. He leads them into the playoffs. You're talking about doing something different to get his name saying, hey, I should be. There's got to be like a gap of like points. And that's why I say 18 to 20, because I see Hudson putting up at least 7 points in these 7 games. So Michkov will have to do 18 to 20. That would at least give him a 10-point gap. That's what I think he needs. I think he needs to surpass Hudson by at least 10 points.
That would be a run.
And I say that, I hate to say it like that, because it's not just based on points alone. Yeah. Let's look at the different positions. When was the last time a defenseman of this caliber was even mentioned, you know, for like Calder? You know, like it's usually forwards, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not very often, you know what I mean? Like Morris Cedar, I think, was one, right? Right. And that was like years ago. So like so, I mean, it's not very often that it's a forward, a defenseman, and a goaltender, you know, with Dustin Wolf being there. It's usually forward, or maybe like a D or like a goalie or something like that, like snag in there, you know, but like it's very rare that it's a forward, a defenseman, a goalie. This is kind of cool. And with that being said, these are different positions. It is so unbelievable the year that Hudson's had.
Yeah.
You know, it's so hard to come in here and put up, you know, 60 points that in his rookie year. That is insane to me. So that right there is like, holy crap, man. You know, this defense that if I'm a voter, to me that would get, especially if he finishes with the most points. But let's say he doesn't, say there's only a 5-point gap. It's hard for me, and the Canadiens make the playoffs. It's hard for me as a voter to say, okay, Michkov should get it over Hudson because he finished with more points, but Hudson led his team to the playoffs. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's hard. These words are so difficult to give out, but I think there's got to be a gap for Michkov, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I hear you there. You know, one thing that's interesting about this Canadiens team, I've said this on social media to a few people. The Montreal Canadiens this year, I think, are an exact replica of the 2015-16 Philadelphia Flyers. That team was pretty much constructed as so. They had one really good line, one elite young rookie defenseman carrying them, Shane Gostisbehere in this case. Flyers' elite line being Giroux, Voracek, and Simmons. One or two other good forwards, where the Habs have a guy like Patrick Laine, who's not on that top line, where we had like Braden Shen and Sean Couturier, and then a bunch of holes everywhere else. It's a team that has its issues, but it's being carried by the elite talent that they do have. And that's not a knock on the team. That's just a pretty much a comparison, because they do have a really damn good first line with Caulfield, Suzuki, and Slafkovsky. You got to give them that props. Suzuki, I think, just became the first Montreal Canadian since 07-08 to hit the 80-point mark. So props to him. He's having a fantastic year. I will say a minor defense for Michkov, not big enough to really make that much of a sway. But the Montreal Canadiens team around Hudson is better than what the Flyers have around Michkov. But I don't think that's enough to really sway it that much. But on to my point, what I would say Michkov would need is Hudson to probably end with like 3 more points the rest of the way. Same thing with Celebrini, maybe like 4 or 5 for him. And Michkov would have to eclipse 70 points and 30 goals. So I think, and that would even just to consider it, I don't even know if that would be enough. But if Michkov would have to go like a 30, 40, 70 line, Hudson goes down to maybe 65 points, and maybe even to throw it in the Habs miss the playoffs, then you might be able to conjure a debate. And even then, I still don't know if that would be enough, because that's still a 65-point season from a defenseman. Even if 60 of them would assist, is still damn impressive. You have to give the props where it's due. But I think for the voters to really consider Michkov, you would need something of that degree, and that's going to be pretty damn tough. But that's what I think. What about you, Eric? What would it take, do you think?
Oh, honestly, I don't know. I really don't know, because I was trying to look at different stats and like trying to make a case for Michkov. And look, the only thing that I think might really work for Michkov is over Hudson is Hudson has a lot of secondary assists. So like a good chunk of it, like 33 of his 57 assists are secondary. Excuse me. So maybe that might play a factor. And power play points, like Michkov out of his 58 points, 15 are power play points, where Hudson 25 of his 62 points are power play points.
Yep.
But so like maybe you can make a case, like if the Flyers had a better power play, like at least a
if they had a better power play, Michkov would be at almost 75 points right now. But
exactly.
of course, Rocky Thompson's here.
Exactly. Like, look, our power play is at 14.7%. We're 30th in the league. Montreal is at 21.1%, and they're 17th in the league. So if we had just a power play close, even just close to Montreal's, maybe it'd be a little closer. And so I look at like out of the 3 between Celebrini, Michkov, and Hudson, Michkov has the highest points per 60 out of the 3. He's at 2.86. Where Hudson's at 2.19. But then again, like Hudson's a defenseman, so you don't expect defensemen to have as much as a forward. Yeah. But still, Hudson has played 1,700 minutes. Michkov has only played 1,215. So it's like, so you ask yourself, like, well, you know what? But again, if Michkov had more minutes, and if Michkov had but like my uncle has a famous saying. He goes, well, if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle. So
I use that one all the time, bro. I use that one all the fucking time. If my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle, bro. I've used that one.
My uncle whips that one out all the time.
Like, I think I don't remember who fucking taught me that one. I think it was my dad, and it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's why me was my uncle, my mom's brother. He says it all the time. Well, yeah, if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle.
Oh like, god, okay. We're gonna get canceled.
So.
That's it. My terrorist comments on the Sabres haven't gotten us canceled yet. I think was safe.
Yeah, this might. This might. But so like, look, there's little things where you can like nitpick and where you can make a case for Michkov. But look, what Hudson's doing this year as a defenseman at his age, playing the minutes he's playing, put up the points he's putting up, I think he's pretty much has it locked right now.
Yeah.
I would put Michkov ahead of Celebrini.
Same.
But it's kind of close, but I would still put Michkov ahead just by the numbers in general. And so I'm not saying Michkov doesn't have a shot. He might.
But it's slim, yeah.
It's very slim. Very slim.
In my argument that we brought up Celebrini, because I was going to mention this too. I have Michkov second right now. Celebrini has more minutes played despite having, I think, 12 less games than Michkov.
Yeah.
And Michkov has more points. So imagine if Michkov got the first line minutes that he's seeing now with Konechny and Couturier all year. That's my push for that. And I'm going to give another crazy stat tidbit with Matvei Michkov. As of yesterday when I looked, I don't know if it's updated because this was as of yesterday morning, Matvei Michkov led the league, the entire league, in 5-on-5 scoring since February 1st. That's incredible. He's a rookie, and over the last 2+ months, he has led the entire league in 5-on-5 scoring. I pulled that up from naturalstattrick.com, I believe is what it was. And I think he's got like a 2 or 3 point edge over anyone else. So that should tell you right there. If he had a better power play, or if Rocky Thompson just was not existing on this planet, no disrespect to Rocky Thompson, the person, Rocky Thompson, the coach, that is, we would be having a potential different conversation. But as you mentioned, if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle. And unfortunately, she is, well, actually, thankfully, she's not. She is not a she-male, but besides the point. But back on the case, Matvei, it's going to take a lot. I don't foresee it. I do think he's past Celebrini. I think he'll be a finalist. Dustin Wolf has recently struggled too. There's 4 rookies that are really standing out. And Celebrini has faded recently. In his last 4 games, he's only got 1 assist. He had a secondary assist, I think, 2 games ago, or 2 nights ago, whatever it was. But Michkov has caught fire. I get you can't use the entire season in just a handful of games, but showing how you're finishing should be something that is played into perspective in the voting as well. But is anything else you want to add, Eric, before we wrap things up with the games of this upcoming week?
No, I'm good.
All right. So I didn't do last week's games because they only played 1 game against Nashville, and there was really no point after that. So, and they won 3-2. Was a pretty dull game in all honesty in general. But with that being said, let's go over the upcoming games. Today they play at Montreal. Wednesday, I think they're at New York. So they're going to be playing some key factoring in this playoff race. And then I think Saturday they're home against the Isles, if I remember correctly. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah. Saturday against the Islanders.
Home against the Isles. It's a matinee at 12:30. Eric, let me lead it off with you. What's the prediction?
Good question.
3 teams in the playoff hunt right now.
Exactly. That's 3 teams in the playoff. Look, we got a little bit of a high when Torts got fired, where we scored 6 against Montreal and 7 against Buffalo. Then we only scored 2 against Nashville. Mm-hmm. So maybe maybe that Nashville game was more like going back to normal. Mm-hmm. So I think we go 1-2. I think we lose to Montreal and the Rangers. Both road games were coming off like a little bit of a break. Mm-hmm. Usually, I don't like the way the Flyers usually come out after breaks, long extended breaks. So I think lose to Montreal tonight, lose to the Rangers, and maybe we beat the Islanders on Saturday afternoon.
I'm going to go with the same exact prediction. I think they go 1-2 as well. I think they lose to Montreal in a close game tonight. I'll give the Habs a 5-4 win. It'll be a little high scoring, but I think Montreal wins it. Rangers, they're now officially in desperation mode, especially after losing today. So I think they beat us, I'll say 3-1. And then the Isles, the most boring team in the NHL, Flyers win 3-2 in overtime. Just have fun with one. I think they're cooked. I think the Isles are cooked anyway, and I think that will map. In fact, I'll go make a bold prediction. The Flyers mathematically eliminate the Isles on Saturday. That'll be my prediction on that. The Isles will be on life support, and in overtime, Travis Konechny is going to bury a game winner and pull the plug and say, "Good night, Long Island." Enjoy your 14th overall pick in this year's draft.
Yep.
But yeah, Eric, anything else you want to add before we wrap things up?
No, I think we pretty much hit everything.
All right. Well, with that being said, that's going to wrap things up here. Thank you all for tuning in to another awesome installment of Flyera Gonna Flyera. Jamey had to take off a little early. So for the 50-plus minutes we did have him today, Jamey, thank you for being here. Great episode as always, but we will see you next week. And with all that being said, everyone, take care. Enjoy the last 2 weeks of the year. Next week will be our final episode of the regular season before it officially ends. 2 weeks from now, we'll officially be in postseason mode, but we will still be doing some wrap-up videos before we move into our postseason schedule, or off-season schedule, I should technically say. We'll get into that more as it gets closer, but that's going to wrap things up. So everyone, take care. Thank you all for tuning in. If you haven't already, give us a like, subscription, comment down below, any potential feedback you have for us. And thank you all for watching as usual. So everyone, sit back, relax, enjoy the last 6 games. And as always, let's go Flyers.